Hello, today we have Jill Daniels from Jill Daniels Law. So excited. Today we're going to talk about the power of a realtor. So if you're ever questioning the value of a real estate agent, you won't after this episode. Plus, if you're considering a transition from one phase of life to another, we talk about the key steps in it. Welcome, Jill Daniels. Well, hello, this is Steve Kaempf with the People, Not Titles podcast. And today we're here with one of our favorite people, Jill Daniels. Jill, welcome to the podcast. We're so glad to have you. Yeah. So Jill is a real estate attorney and a longtime partner of ours. And Jill, I'm excited to talk about just what's happening in the real estate world. But before we do, let's get into just a little bit of your story. I know a lot of people know your story, but there's some out there that'll be inspired by it, I know. So let's talk about just getting into real estate law. What was the journey for you in that regard?
Well, I'd taken some time off to be with my kids.
Okay.
And had done previously in my previous life high volume litigation. And when I came back, I started to do some mediation downtown at the Center for Conflict for Resolution, and was just going to do mediation and just have a different approach to, resolving issues.
How long were you out of the workforce?
I would say probably about 5 years.
Okay.
So when I came back, I had to get reacquainted, get my training up and back.
Was it hard for you to get back?
No, I was so excited to be back.
Okay.
So I missed it.
Yeah. And what inspired you to take the break?
Well, I have a child with special needs.
Okay.
So it was really hard to find someone to watch your child that has needs and to go to therapies and do all that. And really there was no replacement but for a parent to be in that role. Mm-hmm. And so at the time it made sense for me to be the one doing that.
Was that, I know, family is a big, huge priority for you, family first, and your kids are awesome. But was that a tough decision for you to step out of the workforce?
I would say it wasn't. It wasn't because your child comes first.
Okay.
It was not a tough decision, but it was not a decision I loved.
Okay.
I wished it would have been different.
Okay.
And I think anybody that is forced to have to quit to care for a child,
it's tough.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want your child to be in that situation,
Right.
But how lucky was I that we could do it to get where we are today.
Yeah, and just diving into that just a little bit deeper, from a child care standpoint, here you go from kind of mediation and, or litigation and, action-packed and all this kind of thing, and there's a tangible results, right? I won, I lost, I'm this, I'm that, I'm getting recognized and all this, to going into this role where all of a sudden that's all stopped. Did you kind of go through work withdrawal, or did you?
I did go through work withdrawal, but
Okay.
I also became PTC president.
Okay.
Very involved there. Started another business for embroidery.
Okay.
Just on a fluke. I wanted to be doing something that allowed me flexibility to be home.
Yeah.
But it was never my passion,
Yes.
if you will.
Yes.
And I was at a point with kids, we were in a much better spot with my son, so that I, could look at going back to work. We needed it financially too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? To have that option. And thank goodness for my parents at the time to help while I went and did all of this. And I had a girlfriend, she was like, "Why are you doing mediation?"
Uh-huh.
She goes, "Why aren't you a real estate attorney?"
Wow. So that's how it got into
Really, it was just somebody saying, "Why don't you do this?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't really know much about real estate. I've only done a handful of closings at my prior job. When those non-real estate attorneys got involved and messed it all up." Mm-hmm. But it was. I was like, "Let me think about it." She's like, "I got a deal for you. Let's try it. Let me try another one." And before you knew it,
you were off and running.
Yeah, and I've just celebrated my 10th year anniversary in January.
That's awesome. So when you look at that 5 years, and then we're going to leave that 5 years alone, would you look at it and go, "Man, there was great purpose in that 5 years"?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the things we were able to do, my husband traveled a lot for work, and we would road trip with them because they would pay for mileage or to fly, and we would stay at an Embassy Suites hotel because you got free breakfast. All four of my kids could be in a room. So we were able to do some really cool things that would never have happened had I been working, and really to be there for the kids to see their first days at school and things like that. So that's
magical, right?
It is. I'm glad that I had it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people. We have a lot of people that watch our podcast are kind of on a career journey of some sort, and I think a lot of people are afraid to make a change because they're afraid their life's going to go away but you realize there's life wherever you're at, right?
Right.
And whether it be at home or whether it be at work, and then all of a sudden...
And there's purpose to it all.
There's purpose to it all, absolutely. And then all of a sudden you're on a new path. And perhaps if you wouldn't have taken that pause, this new path wouldn't have even opened up for you, right?
Right. I probably wouldn't have been. I would have been just, working at a law firm for somebody else. And I'm like, how...
Yes.
I do work a lot, but I do have a flexibility.
Yes.
Like yesterday I had the option. It was 11 o'clock. My dog was sick. I had to take her to the vet. And I didn't have a closing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I've got my computer.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it. It comes, I'm like, how lucky am I to be able to do that?
Okay, so you're celebrating your 10th year. Congratulations. This might be the 10th anniversary podcast for Jill.
Let's do it. Okay, perfect.
So what do you find appealing about real estate law that you weren't getting in the litigation space?
I feel that we're all, for the most part, working towards a common goal and a common end, which is the closing to get.
There's not a winner and a loser.
Right, yeah. Absolutely. And we all want to, the goal is to get it, the transaction closed. And that is nice to see all parties coming together, buyer, seller, both attorneys, lender, both agents, everything to come together to have that team and that collaborative approach.
That's great. And when you started your real estate law firm, were you an entrepreneur immediately, or did you work for another firm?
No, I had gone back to work at my other office, and it was just not a good fit anymore, having come back. And so I think, I just went off, and I was lucky enough that I still had some income coming in from my embroidery business. I was in the process of selling the company, to bridge me for a couple months to be able to do that.
Wow. And so Jill Daniels Law was born.
It was, and I just hit the ground running, and I was like, how in the world am I even going to get business? I don't even know.
Okay.
So I just...
And this was looking back at it, so we're talking 2015?
Right, yeah, 2015. I was like, yeah.
Okay, so coming out of The Big Short, and the market just started to come alive during that period of time. Were you a one-man or one-woman band at the time?
I was, so I started it, and really, I came up with every process. Here's our systems. I think it's really important to know everything, so anyone that starts for me, like, you're going to start with entering in a contract, because you have to know everything from the bottom up.
Yes.
To do that is, and I think that's really important, especially I feel like during law school, I went at night, worked at a law firm as a secretary, so I've been on the other side.
Yes.
And I think it's really important, especially for like the attorneys, to understand you have to know what you're asking your staff to do.
Awesome.
To do that.
So litigation, so that time and space in litigation, were you able to take some of the things away? I know, litigation is like arguing all the time and, this and that, but what were you able to take from that time and bring into real estate law that makes you a better real estate attorney?
I think two things, because I did high volume, so it was a lot of negotiations over
Pressure.
$6,000, $7,000 transactions, similar to the attorney review negotiations.
Yes.
To say, we have the buyer wants $10,000. I represent the seller. Let's think about a thoughtful response. Let's just not go back with $5,000, then split it at $7,500. Let's go back with, we thought of $5,225. That seems more thoughtful from a negotiation standpoint.
I like it.
And also from the relationship standpoint.
Yeah.
When you have the same people you're working with over and over again, you've got to have good relationships and to make the most of that, because you never know when you're going to see somebody again. And that's the same, I think, with real estate.
Absolutely.
It's really great to have another peer, for me, on the other side that's professional, that is reasonable, knows what they're doing, and that really is such a benefit to the transaction. Yeah,
that's great. And I think that there is certainly the realtor would be the negotiator, and sometimes the buyer and sellers are negotiating, right? But if your attorney has negotiation skills, there are little conversations that happen all the time.
Absolutely.
That you view as a negotiation, as opposed to just check the box, move it along, whatever it is.
Right.
You're actually thoughtful in every transaction about.
So there might be some, there could be just a variety of things.
Yep.
So maybe a home warranty might be a better fit when I hear my client saying, I'm worried about the age of everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's not appropriate to ask for under the contract, but maybe the home warranty would ease your worries.
Yes.
That your AC, your furnace, and your dishwasher were not all going to go next year.
Yes. And so you've built now your firm to now you have a team.
I do.
And so let's talk about just your business as it stands right now.
So my business as it stands right now, I'm really blessed to have everyone that works for me. I feel be very vested in the firm, really care, and I always say we give 100%. all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really lucky in that regard, I feel, for my staff. So we are all virtual, for those of you that don't know. Which really is, I think, a benefit, because one, it allows us to have really great technology.
Yes.
There's no file folder. Oh, I didn't put that in there. I didn't file it. It's all electronic, linked to our emails.
Okay.
So we start with that premise of doing that. I have from my from my staff, I have Patrick, who enters in. Who's like the first intake. That's a lot of communication will come directly from him. Works with attorney review, is great with that and keeping that moving, following up, that kind of thing, and scheduling closings, which is no small feat.
No, absolutely.
I mean, you think it's not that, but you've got so many people to get there, logistics, distances, things like that to make happen. Then I have Holly, who does a lot of the HOA things, does a lot of the post-closing follow-up issues. If there's an issue that comes up afterwards, she'll be involved with that, walk through issues, and really working on mortgage extensions to understand where we are in that process. And then I have Pam, who just moved to Texas, so it was really great that we could have such portability that someone could
absolutely
move from Illinois to Texas and be able to keep that continuity for working, because she's, having everybody here with their roles is so integral to the success of the firm. So we were delighted that she stayed, and she does all of our notary docs, because we send a notary out to have the clients pre-sign.
Yes.
She'll work with post-closing possession, leases, that kind of thing, to make that she answers the phone. We have Jack, who does all of my figures. So for my sales, if we always have someone available.
Right.
Like these sales, I mean, my gosh, if they were going on for 4 hours, I have to leave to go to a buy.
100%.
They all know Jack is, he's in there, he can sign something, send it back, doing that kind of thing. I have Alyssa, who works to enter in all the contracts, does all the title updates, circulates addendums, because we do send those around for electronic signatures to make that easy for everybody. And then I have a law clerk that will do some of the backup stuff. I have them check title, those kind of things for the buyers. Are there any judgments out there? Anything we need to be concerned about? Easements, those kind of things.
Yes.
And then I have Peg, my old paralegal.
Okay.
That everybody remembers so fondly. She does all. She does.
Has she been with you the whole time?
She started when I had 17 files.
Oh, wow.
So she does our closeouts.
Okay.
Which is great, because she can take a week off. There's nothing timely, and scans the files in.
That's great.
So I always have a box I send up to her in Michigan.
It's what's amazing about all that is, number one, kudos to you for putting together that team, and everyone has their roles and they don't have to be micromanaged. I bet that's really freeing for them in the sense of just doing your work and not, and knowing what you're supposed to do. But in all the communications, what I'm hearing from agents and what experience at the title company is, it feels like everyone's in the same room.
Well, people don't know. I mean, honestly,
I bet people are shocked if they hear this and go, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it, Jill." Because
I feel like that's such a compliment.
Yeah,
and
that
we
is
really
a compliment.
try hard.
Yeah.
And we really use Slack.
Okay.
I feel like it's an infomercial for Slack.
Yes.
But we use that to, you can instant message somebody.
Yes.
And to do that, okay, check that. We have access, we've built it up because my firm didn't go virtual during COVID.
Yes.
It was virtual. Already. We grew virtual.
That's amazing.
So I think
that's a lot
approach.
of vision for you.
And I think, my husband encouraged me, because at the time he was working for an international insurance company.
Okay.
And he's like, I do international claims sitting from the desk in our bedroom. I don't understand why you need an office.
You're like...
I'm like, well, I should have an office. And he was like, no, I don't think that's a good thing. And so, best decision I made was never to have gotten that office.
Good for you.
And I think my employees are happier. And I think it offers a benefit. I have someone working from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 at night.
Absolutely.
Because that's the contract hours.
Yeah, you have coverage.
Right.
Yeah.
And you think if somebody had an hour drive after they were done with work, we wouldn't be working till 6.
Yeah.
We'd be working till 5.
And I think your whole process can be measured, so there's no, from an accountability standpoint, all the work gets done, so whether you're
You would know, somebody's like, I can't get a hold of Pat. We would know within 20 minutes. I mean, Patrick is very firm on taking a lunch every day.
Yeah.
So he actually has that in his signature line, because they would be like, Patrick hasn't responded to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, maybe he's at lunch. So I'm saying,
yeah.
So I will say that is never an issue.
Yes.
I've
never heard that being an issue with Jill Daniels. Yeah.
And we really try hard, so we have standard operating procedures.
Yep.
So we call them SOPs. Mm-hmm. So for everything that we do, we write an SOP. Mm-hmm. So we're circulating the survey, it's going to be the same language. It's going to be the same check process.
Yeah.
So that, and you know what? things change, mistakes are made, or you're like, gosh, we should have checked that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we then put that back into our process and look at it. Like,
That's
why
awesome.
was that so hard?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I will tell you, I had an agent give me great critique. And, we were sending an email. It was very clear to me because I thought, John was in the two line, John, and then everybody else was CC'd.
Yeah.
And she goes, I don't think he knows to respond. So why did you say, hello, John?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Please look at this letter. And then that changed. So I was like,
John's like, this is for me.
This is for me, where I was like, well, of course it's for you.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I thought that was really...
Yeah, small little things, right?
And I was like, that's a good point. We're like always open to grow and make it better. And things change.
Yeah. Well, Jill, I applaud you for investing into that back office, because I've noticed about you and what it allows you to do, it allows you, number one, to be present with your clients. So that you can really focus on that, and you don't have 15 different things that you should be doing. So that and it allows you too to be very active in the real estate industry, associations, women's council, whatever it is.
Estate. You know that.
I know. So and a lot of times, a lot of folks that are at these events, they're checking their phone all the time because they're so worried about, do they have to forward something on or have to do something or whatever it is. But you're there and you're present, and I applaud you for that as well.
Well, thank you. No, I really love the real estate community, and it's really, I love new home buyers and I love new agents.
Yes.
Let's, learn. I'm always excited when somebody wants to learn and to understand it.
People Not Titles podcast is brought to you by Land Trust Title Services, your partners for results.
And to understand it,
yes.
And always want to celebrate and support that.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your involvement in the real estate community as a whole. What are the things that you're mostly involved? Is it women's council? Is it?
No, so I would say, I do a lot of sponsorships.
Yes.
I really want to support the industry as well as the agents and those that I work with.
Yeah.
So I have, I'm a corporate sponsor at Main Street.
Okay.
So I've sponsored many events throughout the year for that. I particularly love the education events and the new agents Jumpstart.
Yes.
And over the last year or two, I've become increasingly more involved at CAR with sponsorships. I was on a panel there for women in real estate in the spring for International Women's Day. And
That's
just
awesome.
Really wanted to be involved in those communities. I'm also an RPAC President Circle member. So that is the Real Estate Political Action Committee. So
yes, very important.
Yes, I give at a high level so that I can pick where that donation goes and to be involved, to know, so that that I support the industry. For Main Street, I'm on the Broker Lawyer Committee.
That's
which I think is such an honor to be on. So we work on forums. I was not on the 8.0, which I would love to be.
Yes.
The invitation's out there.
Yeah.
But I really think that's an honor to be on that committee, to look at our forums and what is going on and what is the scoop and what are we hearing, because we do forums differently. We see it up. It's really an interesting thing where the attorneys have a different perspective on that than the brokers.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
And
that's okay.
And that's okay, but really, how can we make these forms better? What
Right.
changes should we make and
Right.
implement?
Yeah, get the best
And to
of
be
both.
part of that is really an honor.
That's awesome. So let's talk about two things that we love to talk about. Number one is the NAR settlement came up last year, right? And so the big question was, are broker commissions going to be the same, and is the buyer's agent worth it, and all that kind of thing. And a lot of buyers agents who didn't feel like they were worth it left the industry, but there are the good ones. The majority of them have said, no, we actually do more than open doors. There's a
I think that message has become very clear.
Absolutely, yes. I that's one of the results of it. I think has really been, if there's a positive come out of it, it's that buyer's agent doesn't just say, oh, the seller's going to pay for it, so don't worry about it. And then you work with 5 different buyer's agents and whatever, minimize the role.
Right.
But to really look at it and say, no, I'm going to partner with you. We're going to look at properties together, and there's a ton of things, a list of 50-something things that we do on the buy side. So for you, have you seen anything change in the way commissions are paid?
I'm going to say that I really am seeing buyers agents really, represent themselves well and their value
Absolutely.
to the client. And although, there's nothing that's typical, it's not uncommon to see the buyers paying a portion of their buyer's agency commission.
That's great.
And I think that was always a fear of, I can't, ask for this. They're giving, they're giving me, the contract, we've agreed upon this, even though we agreed upon Y, I'm not going to ask for the difference of Q. Okay? for that, but I think I'm seeing agents ask for it and get paid.
That's great.
And that's what they agree to.
That's heartening. Yeah,
it
that's
is.
heartening.
And I really would much rather work with a client that has a real estate agent than that doesn't.
100%.
And I had somebody that was repeatedly calling me, like, I need you to do a contract here. I need you to do this. I go, that's not my role.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's going to be a charge of $150 every time I drop a contract.
Yes.
And I'm not also going to be there for your open house, for your appraisal, your home inspection, all of these other things. I was like, just use an agent. And they did. They ended up going with an agent, which was great.
Yeah, good for you. So
they actually saw the value. Because
yes.
I think in theory, you think I'm not getting anything from that. We'll just have, an attorney just drop the contract, but not realizing what you're not getting. And I can't do market analysis.
Yes.
I'm not going to go to the home.
Right.
So I think that we started to see a lot, but
yeah.
I try to educate my clients as it is beneficial.
Yeah, 100%. And we're
and that message is coming out.
It's coming out loud and clear. And I think the buyer's agent value has held. And what we're noticing is that actually commissions have gone up. And so I think what's happened is there's been an awakening, like, man, I do a lot of work on this thing. I deserve my pay. I spent 20 hours on one client.
And I showed him 50 houses.
I showed him 50 houses. We're going to talk about contract cancellations in a moment. But then I've worked through a number of deals that fell through. We've made multiple offers. It's like, wait a time out here. I deserve my money. And then we're also finding out that the seller is still happy to make that as a part of their offering, to the buyer's agent with this kind of collaboration. So I think the market has settled that the buyer's agent is still valuable. I think
it's kind of become a new normal.
A new normal.
I think what needs to be a new normal is we print out, on my, to make sure that both you're giving your commission statement as an agent to both the buyer's attorney and the seller's attorney.
Yes.
And as the attorney, when you go to closing, print those commission statements out.
Yep.
Like, I don't go to a closing without it.
Right.
And I won't, if I don't get a commission statement from the buyer's agent.
Yes.
I make them sign. I'm like, I need you to sign off on this one to make sure that there's not going to be any issues.
Right.
And
That's
I think that you're seeing more and more of that. It used to be a lot more pushback from the buyers. Nope, it's in the contract.
Yeah.
I'm like, but there could be a contract. You could have an addition, money you're being paid in addition to that.
Right, and it's absolutely professional of you to be able to say, listen, I want to protect I want you to get the money you're supposed to get.
But I also want my client to know what's going on, because I don't want to close. You know what I mean? I want to protect my client.
100%.
Say, all of a sudden they don't get a bill for an extra, $3,000 or whatever it might be. That I want to make sure everything is paid and there's no expectations there. So it's really just protecting the transaction, I think.
That's great. And then the beginning of this year, right, we shifted to the 8.0 contract.
Right.
And so I think overall there's been really positive feedback from everyone about how it's improved. And so let's talk a little bit about that. What is your, how have you been handling, what have you noticed about the 8.0 and how it's, weaved its way into the transaction?
I think there's so many positive things. I thought it was really interesting because I did actually 2 courses at Main Street with 2 different instructors with them explaining the 8.0. They had different, and I did like the attorney class, which was an hour. I was like, oh, that's great. So easy. So I'm saying this is all crystal clear to me, so uneventful. But when I went into the agents class with the teaching and them doing everything, it was so interesting to see how an agent would look at this contract so much differently, right? For it. And I think the biggest discrepancy I'm seeing of people not fully understanding it is the paragraph 14 as is, and paragraph 15, which is the inspection with the right to request something without requesting something, or no inspection, no request.
Okay.
So, because I will get things often that come back that say, well, this wasn't as is, you shouldn't be asking for anything. I'm like, well, no, paragraph 14 is seller's representations and warranties, and paragraph 15, B was initialed, so we can ask for something.
Right.
And I feel like that is, that
you
still
constantly
needs to have
that
clarity. And I don't know, I personally don't know what you would change in the contract, because I think it's very, very clear.
Yeah.
But I don't think that message is clear, or the client is understanding this. Like a seller, like, it's as is, I'm not doing anything. I'm like, well, it gave him the right to request it.
Right.
That doesn't mean you have to do anything.
Right, but it doesn't lock us out of the contract.
Right, can't
if I request
boot them.
it, you can't boot them.
Correct.
And so you have to have those nuanced conversations more often, even though it's been broken out.
Right, I think so. And I think it's like, I'm like, well, that was the way the old as is was. The new as is not is not the same.
Yes. And so the difference is if they're not initialing the right on the next paragraph, then as is, right?
No, as is would still be seller's representation and warranties.
Okay, so, yeah.
If you did paragraph 15C, it would just mean you weren't asking for anything.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Does that make...
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's where I think is like been a struggle bus with it.
Okay. And is it getting better?
No, I don't know. I think
it's still
I think it's a struggle bus.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make it more, I mean, honestly.
Right.
I think it, but that was the difference I saw from the attorney standpoint. We're like, bam, this makes total sense, here we are. But then in actuality of how it's playing out and how you've seen realtors interpret it and the clients and the buyers and sellers interpret that, it's obviously a different like they're looking at it differently than as an attorney looking at it. So that's been, I think, a challenge.
Yes. Okay.
And something that I, really want to advocate for that.
Yeah.
For the understanding of it.
Yeah, it's more just about an understanding and education than it is about changing the contract at all.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. And that might be a good something that we could do actually together.
I would love it. We could like put it up on our
absolutely
right here
put it up on the board. Yeah.
Put it up on the board to show.
Yeah.
Let's really just read this.
Yes.
And I think it's really important. Like I would urge all of you to go back and really read paragraph 14 and all of paragraph 15, because of what you can ask for. It is not like we're still getting requested. Like I think I had referenced it earlier.
Yeah.
The age of applying. You know what I mean? Like your roof is past the end of its useful life. That doesn't mean you get a new roof.
Right.
Because it's not leaking.
Right.
It's still serving its purpose.
Yes.
So I think that's where that is really a key thing. And I think I would love to see buyers be represented with that before they start their home. Before you start your home inspection, here's some tidbits just to kind of keep in mind.
Yeah, let me remind you of what these two paragraphs mean. That's great. And you've planted a great seed. When we talked about what's happening in the real estate world, one of the first thing that came out of your mouth was cancellations.
Yes.
And we've actually on our Market Trends podcast, we talked about that cancellations are at an all-time high. And so what do you see happening with cancellations? And is there a new trend in this, or what's going on?
We've been seeing so many cancellations that we decided to track them over the last 12 months. So we were maybe at like a year ago, like 23-24%.
Okay.
And now we were like 38%, 38% this last month.
Interesting.
It's been going up. It's been ticking up and up and up.
That's pretty dramatic.
And I think it's like, significant. I think people are just like, oh my gosh, I finally got an offer accepted on a home, and then they're like, I don't know that I even want this home.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Or you have a seller canceling because they can't find something, things like that. And it's just, we're just seeing more and more of it. I don't think it's necessarily for financing.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it's like you're seeing them, oh my gosh, we're at the end and we can't get
it's kind of like a lukewarm.
It's in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's attorney review.
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe I've got another offer out there. How can I get out?
Yes.
But I don't necessarily think it's for financing. I think there's so many great options out there for financing.
Yes.
That
and usually people have that buttoned up before they're making offers.
I mean, maybe the one thing for financing is the non-warrantability, but I'm not thinking like someone's not approved.
Okay.
It's maybe the condo itself is not approved.
I see.
Something like that. But it's not like necessarily a title clearance issue because, there's always ways, and you guys are such a good help with that at Land Trust to solve some of these issues that come up. We can be very collaborative to work on a solution to get this closed. But it's more of just, I think, that beginning.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's a trend that's going to continue, and that's just kind of the new normal, because a cancellation, number one, there's disappointment on one side or the other, because one side really wants it done, and the other side's like, yeah, whatever. And then all of the work that's put in, your firm, the agent, the marketing, just the blah, blah, blah part of it, it's like it makes the industry, it tires people out with no reward.
Right. And when you think it takes me in my office, not me, but my office, 45 minutes to set up a contract.
Yes.
So we're setting in all the dates, checking everything over, making notes on the right side, entering everybody's date in. Hey, welcome. Yeah. Here's what to expect. Here's who to reach out to. Sending another email to like the lender, introducing ourselves, the other attorney. And you're like, that is a lot of work that just went into setting this all up. And then an hour later to be like, we changed our mind.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's little for us versus the agents. I didn't go to that house. I didn't
invest time with the family.
Right. Maybe I sat through a home inspection for 5 hours.
Yes.
Only to
went
find
to open house.
Find them canceled. So we take it very seriously and really want to make sure that we, we work together before, and everybody's abreast of that before something would be canceled.
Yeah, and maybe there's a conversation that the agents have, with the new normal being, there's a higher propensity of cancellations. Maybe there's another, hey, are you serious about, or whatever.
Right.
Let's not make this offer if you're not going to have the stomach to
just
go all the way through.
Excited, right?
Yeah. So.
Or I think you have some homes that are just not in great condition.
Yeah.
And that is a lot. Can often be a surprise for people.
Yes, absolutely. They think they're buying a new home. It's like you're buying an older home, actually.
Right.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why new construction is starting to pop now, because people are like, well, if you want new, then new's new, and
right.
This is used, in some ways, but there's charm and there's, availability and all those different things
right.
with used property. So.
Right,
anyway,
exactly.
Yeah. So, Jill, I want to talk about the vision for your firm in the future. Is it just continue to just deliver great service, or do you have other things that you're looking at saying, here's where I see us going?
Well, I would say, for the, I didn't even mention when you talked about my staff. I also have 2 other attorneys that work for me, more of like an of-counsel role.
Okay.
Where they do estate planning. And then probate work, which has been so incredibly helpful.
It's complementary, right?
It's very complementary.
Yeah.
Elaine also does a lot of LLC work, things like that. So, So it's a more holistic approach to your clients. Right, we can do that for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Get that, then, just so they're not going elsewhere because we want to do that. So, but ideally, and we're doing tax appeals. I'm working on how to get that streamlined done, and different programs that we've been trying out. It's all soft launch.
Yes.
But really doing it and having good success, but to really bring that to a higher level.
Great.
I got to have a much stronger back end.
Okay.
To do that. So I've been working really hard on that.
Okay.
And just really more business planning to do that.
That's great.
I still have a lot of years left in me.
Absolutely.
So you know what I mean?
I've got in the tank.
So yeah, I'm not easing it into looking at something here, and really I had hoped that one of my kids would take the firm over, so I had built it up for that, but that is not how it's looking.
Okay.
But yeah, so just keep seeing where, always keeping an open mind.
Yes. And with the tax appeal, are you just now? I understand we don't want 1 million tax appeals.
Oh no, absolutely! I'm not doing any marketing. It's just
you're ready to do it.
And we've got a database we can put you in. And every appeal cycle, we do a couple.
Okay.
But it's really just a process that I want to have it be 100% to do it, and I couldn't take on 1,000 of them tomorrow.
Yes.
But the tax appeals, it's a lot of marketing going into it, so we want to have really good systems and everything set up.
So it's automated.
And then we can be like, okay, marketing going out.
Yeah, and that is a big conversation issue. Is my taxes are too high? How do I get this? And let's find out if they're too high. So
we can put that in, and I actually have something on my website.
Yeah.
You can put in your property PIN number or address, and it'll tell you where you're at. So I think that's for Cook and Lake. So give that a try.
Okay, and you also have on your website a seller net sheet.
I have a seller net sheet.
Yeah.
I have a glossary of terms, which is crazy how many times people look at that to say, just to ask a question. Really, what is the owner's policy?
Yes.
What is the lender's policy? Breaking down this terminology, which I think can be really helpful.
Yeah, and I think for an agent that's working with you, if they're looking at it if these people have questions, like, hey, go to Jill's website, and you'll most of the questions that you have of all the different terminology on this transaction you do once every 7 years will be answered for you, and that's great. That's a helpful.
I've been working really hard on my social media.
Yes.
To put out informational videos, reels, I should say. I'm trying hard.
Yeah.
Teaching this old dog new tricks.
That's great.
But really to do little nuggets. Mm-hmm. There is no appraisal contingency within the financing of paragraph 8 in the I think it's paragraph 8. Now I'm like a hammer. I'm like, wait, I'm frozen.
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
No, but the financing contingency, right?
Yes.
But different things like that. So always, and something happens or something triggers it, I keep a running list. So I try to post those pretty frequently.
That's great, and people can follow you. They can go to your website and find out what your social media feeds are.
Yeah,
and it's Jill Daniels.
JillDanielsLaw.com.
JillDanielsLaw.com. Simple. Okay, Jill, I want to talk about you personally. And you have a great spirit. You just have an air of kind of peace and joy. And so, where's that coming from? Is that do you have a way that you're getting centered every day, or is there any daily practice that you have that helps you?
Not really, but I do take a gummy every night.
Oh, all right.
So I get really good sleep, and think that that's really key.
So good sleep is the
Good
key
sleep,
to fresh.
I think. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
wish I would tell you that I meditated.
Yeah.
I'm way too type A for that.
Yeah.
But that's probably why I need a gummy at night to make sure I'm getting good sleep, so I'm not waking up at 3. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
with like, oh my gosh, I didn't do that, or having that. So I make sure it's like solid sleep. I do like to give back.
Yeah.
I think that like refuels me, like, and to do that, like, I serve on our the high school in LaGrange, the
Okay.
high school, Lyons Township High School School Board.
Yes.
So I'm the
Okay.
vice president of that.
Okay.
Very involved there, and I think, you know, having things that are not part of, you know what I mean, real estate sometimes is really great too.
Yeah, separate purpose from just your work.
Right, in your family, and
Yes.
just something individual for you. You know, we really try to make the most of the times that we're not working.
Okay.
You know, my husband was really ill last year,
Mm-hmm.
and you just realize life could be gone like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's doing great now, but it just really, I think, having the previous 2 years lost both my parents, and then my husband getting really ill,
Yeah.
just really stopped us in our tracks to be like, we only get one today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got
That's
to
great.
do the best that we can with it.
I love it.
So I think maybe a little gratitude.
Okay. I love it. Gratitude and gummies. That's the 2 G's.
I mean, right, there you go.
That's
that
awesome.
effort in real estate, which is flexibility. So there you go.
I love it. Well, Jill, I just want to say it's always a pleasure getting together with you. I'm sure that there are people watching that are going to say, I'm going to start working with her. And I think that anyone who knows you already is like, that's why I've picked Jill. So thank you very much.
I would love it. Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's what an honor.
You're welcome. Hey, thanks for listening to the People Not Titles podcast. We are proudly sponsored by Land Trust Title Services. If you enjoyed the podcast, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and we'd love it if you'd share our podcast with your friends. Thanks a lot.